Welcome back to Headingley Stadium for our latest episode of Box 2 in partnership with Best Western Hotels GB, supporting local, proudly independent hotels. It's our Armed Forces game, and joining me in Box 2 are a trio of representatives of both the Leeds Rhinos and the British Army. First up is Bethan Dainton, a serving soldier who previously played for Rugby Union side Harlequins, where she won the Premier 15 title in 2021 and became the first servicewoman to play for the Barbarians. She is a dual-code international who won 8 caps in Rugby Union for her country before winning her first cap in Rugby League in 2022. She also represents the Army in both codes. Peterborough-born Kaiya Glynn is a serving soldier based at Catterick as a combat medical technician. She joined the Rhinos this season after making a switch to Rugby League with the Army after starting out her sporting career playing football. She was the Army's top point scorer in 2021 and had another standout season in 2022. Agonisingly though, will miss out on the Challenge Cup final at Wembley due to serving a ban for a dangerous tackle at York a few weeks ago. Jenna Greening recently returned to playing Rugby League with the Army after a 10-year break from the game. She's an Army reservist who plays in the halves. The Hull-born player has been a consistent performer for the Army and in 2021 won the Katie Garside Trophy as the coach's player of the season. Welcome back to Box 2, myself, Jamie Jones-Buchanan, in partnership with Best Western Hotels GB, and I'm joined by a very special trio this week. We've got Jenna, Kaiya and Bethan, all from the Leeds Rhinos Women's team. Looking forward to a game against the Huddersfield Giants this weekend. I think it's 12:30 kick-off. Really looking forward to that. But we're actually also celebrating the Armed Forces round, the Armed Forces game at the Leeds Rhinos. And I must say, it's some of my favourite memories are in the Armed Forces round. I remember one year my favourite kit I think I played in was like a celebration of the Battle of the Somme. It was like a black one, it had all these symbols in it. And I sometimes think about, if I hadn't played Rugby League, what other sport may I have played? And on reflection, I reckon I was probably more likely to be in the military than I would have been another sport, just with that camaraderie, fortitude and other little bits. But Jenny, just tell us, I didn't have a game last weekend, so you've all been camping, or you've done something different, have you? What did you do last weekend?
I worked on recruitment at the Armed Forces game, Hull versus Castleford.
Right.
Just did a bit of recruitment for the Army on that.
Bethan, just tell us a little bit about how you got into the Army and then how you migrated into playing Rugby League as well.
Yeah, it's always something I've always wanted to do when I was growing up, is just be in the military, doing something different. There's no one really in my family in that background, so yeah, I just wanted to just get away. There's not much opportunities back home and stuff. And just being in the Army allowed me to play rugby. I'd never ever had the opportunity back home to play rugby. I just did like football, athletics, hockey and stuff. So just being in the military allowed me to play rugby and just be here today, I guess.
Multi-talented then, I imagine. And you played with Harlequins. Just tell us a bit about your Rugby Union journey.
Yeah, I started in 2015, I think, then got capped for Wales in 2016, then moved over to Harlequin, so I was there until last season. Yeah.
And played a bit of Rugby League. The difference between Union and League, how was that for a challenge crossing over? And I imagine you're going to tell us Rugby League's your favourite, but what was your experience?
Now, Rugby League is my favourite, but I think because it suits me more as a player.
Yeah.
It's a lot faster, you cover a lot more metres, there's a lot more contact, so yeah, I do enjoy it more. I feel like I'm involved more. Sometimes in Union you're not really involved in the game as much, depending on like who you're playing and stuff. So. And
Kaiya, as well, this weekend there was no game. Obviously, I had a bit of a bye round there, preparing long-term for Challenge Cup in a few weeks, but got to think about Huddersfield coming up soon. But you all went away camping. Just give us a bit of an insight into what you got up to.
Yeah, so Bethan brought a van up camping. And there's a group of us that kind of went camping up in Newcastle before we had our sort of team bonding on the Sunday. So yeah, we went camping, let our hair down, I'd say, is probably the best way to put it. Brought a dog and a bit of fun. And yeah, just sort of got together and hung out. And then on the Sunday we went down to the beach. Did a few little bits to sort of come together as a team and make sure that we weren't sort of missing anything, and then sort of getting to know each other a bit better, and then had a few rounders games and we lost, but it's all right.
I love that. I've been talking a lot recently about it being about the connection rather than the content. So just being out there, doing something a little bit different, regardless of the size of the proverbial campfire. It's all about being together, isn't it? So when you said to do a few little bits, give us a bit of a deeper insight into what those bits are.
I think a lot of it was sort of working out people's things that make them tick and things that maybe aren't really people's thing neither. And I think that was has been a big growing part for us as a team, I think. And obviously being new in, we're learning everyone, everyone's learning everyone. So it's just working out, you know, the start of the season was probably a bit up and down and people going away and whatever else. So I think it was just sort of gathering all our thoughts from the games leading up to now and just sort of regrouping and making sure everyone was still on the same page. I think it's probably how I mean by that. Brilliant,
brilliant. And Jenna, coming together as a group, you've got Alicia Watson, you've got Tara Moxon as well, all connected with military. Is that solidifying, having some other relational background other than just playing rugby league for you as a group?
Oh yeah, definitely, because obviously they're our friends, so friends before playing rugby as well, so it makes you stronger when you go to play as a team.
Jenna, tell us a little bit about how you got into military, how it all started, and if there's any young women out there that want to follow in your footsteps, how would they go about it?
Obviously I'm on the reserves, so obviously the short story is I was going to join the RF, then I was due to go on holiday. So I said to my friends if they fancy joining as well. Went away on holiday, come back, and they'd done the application form. So decided to do mine. I literally did it, and here I am now, and then I just got into it. Yeah. And
how have you found your time at the Leeds Rhinos? Because all three of you started this year, come together, quite new. Just give us a bit of a run through. How did you find out about the Leeds Rhinos, taking those first steps into the team, getting to know a new group of people? How did you enjoy that experience and how did you come about it?
Yeah, it's been a great experience. Just got into Leeds by obviously us three playing together for the army.
Yeah.
Our coach is a massive Leeds fan, so it come through there somewhere speaking to the Lois or whatever, and then went down and trialled, and then obviously Lois wanted us and we got in.
Awesome, awesome. And how do you feel about the opportunity, you personally, as an achievement of getting to Wembley? What does it mean to you?
Oh, it's absolutely massive. I've never obviously got somewhere big playing rugby. I took a long time out. So to go back and even play for Leeds is massive, to be honest, let alone getting to Wembley.
Yeah, and you said it was that pointed you in this direction?
Yeah, I think so.
Good on you, was doing a little bit of recruiting for our girls team. Keep sending them, mate, keep sending them. Kaiya, massive opportunity for these girls, and I know it's devastating for yourself to not be able to play a part, obviously, a suspension there. I was there at York, and it was one of those rare occasions where two rights made a wrong. Because I thought yourself and Kira Bennett had great tackle technique. Tara Jane Stanley ended up tipping over at top and it's ended up in a suspension. Real difficult, obviously, for you to take because there's no malice in there, an accident, and you're going to miss out on that dream. But being in that military environment, you must have learnt a multitude of times how to deal with adversity. How have you dealt with that and how have these girls supported you?
I think the military background does teach you to sort of just pull your socks up and get on with it.
Yeah.
But I think you guys can vouch in that it wasn't a case of just like, yeah, it's done, like deal with it. I had a bit of time to reflect and sort of try and gather myself and my own thoughts and of course trying to support Kira because both of us were in it together. And it's one of those that, like, you know, I'm still quite novice in the game, so of course even like I say, I'm playing for Leeds is phenomenal, but being with such girls that have achieved such great things already and then Wembley also being taken out of both our hands and obviously as a team it affects us all. I think it was quite hard to deal with, but with these guys' support and, you know, Lois, the whole team it's been amazing, just sort of getting behind us, giving us our time to sort of be sad because we're going to be sad, but also then, you know, especially Bethan, I have to say, is like been sort of a backbone in terms of like, it is tough, it is sad, but what you've added to the experience up until this point has been enough. And for me, I didn't really see that side of it until sitting down with Bethan and really speaking about it. And, you know, every game we've done up until now, every person in that team, whether on the pitch or off the pitch, has added value. And I think actually to sit and look at that part of it as opposed to like, yeah, I'm not playing, I'm not at Wembley, and being a Debbie Downer is not going to bring the team up for one, and it's not going to help myself. So I think, I say a big person was Bethan that's really supported me, but the girls and the coaching staff and everyone have been fantastic and really kept us on our toes and kept us where we need to be, so that's good.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And Bethan, you know, just listening to that, it reminds me of when I couldn't play in 2015, Challenge Cup final, so I had an injury. I remember it was always the picture that resonated with me as to the most successful or the most important picture in my career when I went up and lifted the trophy with Kev Sinfield there. So it was all about that togetherness, and he was looking after me in the same way Kaiya saying you're looking after her in a moment of adversity. But you as well was, I believe, first Welsh international to play in a Challenge Cup final, certainly at Wembley as well. How much are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's a really exciting opportunity. Like these opportunities don't come along often, so yeah, I'm looking forward just to get there and see what we can do and see if we can bring it home.
And the preparation going really well as well. This week we've got Huddersfield Giants. How's that prep been going for that one?
Yeah, prep's been going well. We've had a few days off, just as we've previously said, just to rest, because I think we've had a lot of weeks where it's been tough and there's a few sore bodies and stuff. So I think just training-wise, we're just going to keep looking at ourselves and try not to think too far ahead of ourselves. So just getting Huddersfield out of the way and then prep for Wembley then starts. And
how important will it be for you to have that military theme behind this weekend? Obviously, it's all coming together. I've been at games where parachute regiments come in and they've nearly hit Gaz Ellis on the back head, nearly knocked him clean out into the side of stands. I've seen Ronnie the Rhino abseiling down South Stand, turn upside down. But how important is it for you to enjoy that military round and have two things that mean so much to you come together?
Yeah, I just think it's important just to showcase what we do as the military and just almost say thanks to all those who have gone before us and all those that are still serving now, and just getting the forces out there.
And talking about Challenge Cup finals there, Jenna, all KR in one. Are you red and white? Are you black and white?
No, black and white, so let's not talk about that.
What will that mean to the town? It's really funny, we had Tony Smith. I was speaking to Tony Smith at the weekend there on Sky, and even though it's black and white, the name being at Wembley, tide rising again at one side of the city on the east side, it's only got to increase that rivalry, almost maybe even a jealousy. Do you find that in that sort of environment in Hull?
Oh, massive. You know what the derby's like, black and white, red and white, it causes chaos. But like I say, I've got to admit I'm black and white, so yeah. We'll
see. And this week and beyond the Challenge Cup, there's still a lot to play for. How much are you looking forward to finishing off this season strong? It's interesting, St Helens, watching them play against York there, looked a bit tired towards back end, I thought. Obviously put a lot of effort into the semi-final the week before. York looked really challenging, but what's on store for us in terms of what we can do at the end of the season?
Obviously, we've just got to carry on developing. We had a massive change, Leeds. Obviously, we took new players on, and especially us three new to the team. Obviously, myself, I've still got a lot to learn, and I'm just fitting in and just trying to do my best. But by the end of the season, hopefully, we're stronger and we do well. Good
on you. And last word, Kaiya, playing for the Rhinos brand. Leeds RL, got a women's team, wheelchair, physical disability, learning disability team. It is very inclusive, isn't it? What's your experience playing for the Leeds Rhinos brand, and how much does it mean to you?
I think having not played rugby for that long, I think I'm reaching like when I started in 2018, it's like my 4th or 5th year, something like that. I think this is, for me, one of the greatest achievements I could have got to at this point, and to keep going is exciting, and I can't wait to see what happens. And I think being part of Leeds, having the kids running up to us, and you got a nice little message, didn't you, from one of the little girls and stuff. And I think that for me has been like the biggest thing of like people just coming and asking for pictures. And I think that inclusiveness of everyone's coming now to support the women's game as well, I think is fantastic, and I love it at the moment. I'm living for it.
I can't not leave it there, Bethan. Tell us about this message. What did it look like? Say, tell us what it was.
She might get teary.
No, I don't do emotions. I just got like this little card. So the first game against York was like my first ever game for Leeds, and I remember behind the post there was like a little girl just sat there with her dad screaming, "Can I have a picture?" So I just jumped up on the wall and got a picture. So from then, every game she comes up to me, like asks me how I am and stuff. So one of the games, then she just gave me this card and an envelope. So I went in the changing room after the games, and it just had like, "Good luck for the semi-finals. I'm going to be on holiday, so I can't come and watch you." And just had a little picture of us from that York game.
Oh, bless.
There. Yeah, so we got the programme signed at the semi-finals for her. So I'm going to give her that next game.
Awesome. All the men's team, the women's team, the wheelchair team, if you ask them for a photograph, they're right here to give you one, and it means so much to them, as it still does me. I still can't believe people ask me or remember the old fella. Bethan, tell us a little bit about the start of the season, because you had a pre-season training camp. I used to love the military ones. I remember going to Akatoria, a bit of Germany and all over the place. That's where I thrive. But you all came together. I've seen some of the video footage as well. It looks outstanding. It looked like you all had a great time. But ultimately, did you bond during that process?
Oh yeah, it was a great day, to be fair. It was really hard and stuff. I think it brought out different personalities that you hadn't seen before. So a few people who were scared of heights that you didn't know, so you had to almost help each other across and stuff. So it was just great to see like everyone pushing their boundaries, seeing how far they could go, like that robustness that you get in the military, just resilience. It also goes onto the pitch as well. So it was just really good in testing. And for me personally, I normally take people over them sort of stuff in the military. So it's good to actually get the paras to actually make me do it. And I just thrived off stuff like that.
Puts you under a little bit of pressure then, doesn't it? Because you've got to be good at it. If you was to pick out one or two who performed really well, who you might have been competing against, who would they be?
Georgia Hale, she's super fit. I know she's gone now, but she's just an incredible athlete, and her mindset is just unreal. So yeah,
brilliant. They're all incredible athletes. We've got some great athletes at this club, the men's, the women's, the wheelchair, whether they're performing on the field or having photographs at the side. They love representing this club. Why don't you come down and support these women, 12:30 p.m. this Sunday against the Huddersfield Giants, before the men take on the Leeds Leopards at 3 p.m. There's also loads going on in and around the ground as well. Big thanks to Jenna, Kaiya and Bethan for joining us in Box 2. Hope to see you at the weekend. In the meantime, have a great week. God bless.